All right. Hey, everyone. Jammer back with another edition of more magazines. And that shouldn't surprise you. That's what this channel is. So let's get right into it and talk about this right now in front of me. I talked about this the last video I did when I showed the WCW magazines that how certain wrestlers are on covers now of these magazines, the Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazines, and you might not know who they are. And looking at this, okay, on the top left side, you have the knockouts from Impact Wrestling. Now, a casual wrestling fan is probably not going to know any of those women. The woman in the middle, I believe, is Mickie James, and it doesn't even look like Mickie James with the face she's making. And unless you follow NXT, you're not going to know that that's Deonna Purrazzo on the right. And the other women have been in Impact or TNA, maybe even in TNA when it was called that. They've been there. And I'm sure a lot of casual wrestling fans do not know what Impact Wrestling is even. They know the WWE. Beside it is, of course, Orange Cassidy, who is holding the most popular wrestler of the year award for PWI in 2020. He, of course, is in All Elite Wrestling. And All Elite Wrestling is a little more well-known, probably, I would say, because it's on a cable channel like TNT and TBS, and in Canada on TSN. So people are probably going to stumble upon it. And depending on who's on AEW at the time, they may actually want to continue watching it. Orange Cassidy does not do it for me. Orange Cassidy, I'm not a fan of. I just don't get his gimmick. I don't know. If wrestling already gets like a really crappy, what's the word I want to look used here? Well, let's just say it doesn't get looked at well in the spotlight by non-wrestling fans. And if they see Orange Cassidy do his shtick out there, which is just like really weird wrestling, I don't think it's going to get any help in making people think wrestling is a good sport to watch. And even though technically it's sports entertainment, but you get my drift. This here, again, 3 women who I honestly don't know any of them. I can tell you who any of those women are. I don't know. Charlotte Flair, I know. Becky Lynch, I know even Sasha Banks. Like even this magazine right here made a little more sense for a cover. And of course, Okada, who I know because, I follow a little bit of New Japan, but a casual wrestling fan is not going to know who that is. They're not going to pick up a magazine and be like, oh, I got to get that because Okada's on the cover. Do you want to know what works for magazines? This. Now, why does that work? Because it's The Rock and Roman Reigns. And as much as wrestling fans, may not want to admit to it, people know who The Rock is. They know who Dwayne Johnson is. They know him from his movies, or they know him from his wrestling. They remember the Attitude Era. They remember who The Rock was and the matches he had with Stone Cold Steve Austin or Triple H or The Undertaker. They remember that. They look at that magazine and see Dwayne Johnson on the cover. They might be interested enough to pick it up. And if they don't know who Roman Reigns is on the left, they're going to know because they're going to pick up the magazine to read it to find out why Dwayne Johnson's on the cover opposite of Roman Reigns. Now, Roman Reigns is the biggest name of professional wrestling right now, bar none. Anyone who says he isn't is just lying. The guy has been champion for over 1,000 days. He's dominated the WWE like no one has seen in years. I guess the last person to dominate like this would have been Hulk Hogan from 84 through 88. Roman's just destroying that. I don't see the title coming off Roman anytime soon, especially now that they made another world title for Raw with Seth Rollins holding it. I don't see Roman dropping the Universal Undisputed W title anytime. But looking at this magazine, you wonder, why is The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, on the cover against Roman Reigns? You're going to want to pick it up and see. You're not going to want to pick up and see who these people are. You're just not. I'm sorry, but you're not. And that might be wrong, maybe. But maybe hardcore wrestling fans know who they are. I don't. And I think I'm pretty good at knowing wrestling, but I don't know who those three ladies are. I'm sure they're really talented and awesome individuals. But like I said, when you have Sasha Banks or Charlotte Flair, that's where you want to kind of have on the cover, right? Another one. Here's another example. This. Okay, AEW. It dominated 2021, again, on the cover, just like 2020 with Orange Cassidy, but only this time for 2021, look who's sitting there. That's CM Punk. Okay, that's CM Punk. Any wrestling fan in the last 15 years knows who CM Punk is. They've been chanting his name since 2014 on WWE television every time that they didn't like something. I mean, the CM Punk chant became the new ECW chant, for crying out loud. You know, if they didn't like it, you chant CM Punk, and you kind of try to stick it to Vince McMahon by chanting that. And I don't know why. That's just the thing you do. But I mean, right here, PWI has a chance to have the entire cover be CM Punk. And nothing against Britt Baker. She's good. She's really good. She's talented. But does a wrestling fan from like 10 years ago know who Britt Baker is? No. But they're going to know who CM Punk is. They're going to see CM Punk on a cover of a wrestling magazine and say, wait, CM Punk's back in wrestling again? I thought he left. I thought he went to UFC, or I thought he was making movies. No, he's wrestling. He's in All Elite Wrestling. It's just Pro Wrestling Illustrated refuses to put him on the cover as in a full, like they would back in the 80s with the likes of guys like Hulk Hogan or Dusty Rhodes or Sting, you know, or the 90s with Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, and such. And even in the 2000s with guys like John Cena and Randy Orton, you know who these guys are. You don't know who a lot of these other wrestlers are nowadays. And I understand what Pro Wrestling Illustrated is trying to do. I do. They want to get other people out there and get them known and get them, you know, have the spotlight on them. And that's cool. But look, this is where the spotlight is, right? CM Punk, Roman Reigns, The Rock. This is who you need to have on the cover now. It's just the way it is. I'm sorry, but I mean, if anyone disagrees with me, that's cool. You can leave a comment saying you disagree. I will 100% be okay with that, because that's what this channel's about. I want to discuss wrestling magazines with the fans of wrestling magazines and fans of wrestling. But I just can't see how a casual fan or a fan who's been not really paying attention to wrestling for years can walk by and see someone that they don't know, when you can see someone like Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, or CM Punk, and be like, oh, what are they doing on the cover of this wrestling magazine? I have to get this to see what's going on. Those days it's not going to happen with anyone else. But hey, I still collect them every time they come out. I just recently got the newest one right here. Boom. Supercards 23. Again, Roman Reigns on the cover. Mark Briscoe, of course. No one's going to really know who he is unless you follow ROH or Impact. Him and his brother Jay were just there. And of course, that sucked what happened with Jay a few months ago. It really does. That was a horrible situation. And it was a very sad time in wrestling when Jay Briscoe passed. But right here, though, like Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair on a small photo, come on. Charlotte Flair is honestly the #1 woman in wrestling, and has been for the last, 10 years? She rivaled her and Sasha Banks. I don't even like Sasha Banks, okay? But honestly, they're the best. And same with Becky Lynch and Bayley. These are names of women. Like these are who the casual fan probably knows from either flipping through the channel and catching Raw or SmackDown, or because their brother or sister watches it, or their parents or something, right? Oh, well, what do I know? All I know is that I collect wrestling magazines, and I've done it for years. And I started collecting in 1987, right? And I have everything that I can, well, almost everything. Like I said, I'm still missing the odd magazine, but man, cover sells, right? It's like what I said in that one video Bill Apter said, Dusty Rhodes was on the most covers because he was most recognizable and he sold the most. Man, Pro Wrestling Illustrated's got to do that again. Go back to what works. Go back to what sells. And that's top name stars on the magazine covers. People are going to buy it and they're going to learn about the other stars eventually, but you kind of got to sell the top name guys, right? Oh, well. Anyways, thanks for watching. Give it a like, a comment, subscribe, a view. A view, that's all that matters. Just watch it, please. like I said, I'm doing this for fun. So I hope you're enjoying it. I know I'm enjoying it. So until we do this again, this is Jammers Wrestling Magazine Collectibles saying thank you and talk to you later.